What's up, guys? What's up? Uh, we'll see about the live, right? I don't know if there's no traction, not many people join or check out the live. I'll end it quick. Yeah, but if you're bored, right? If you're bored, nothing to do, I figured why not? Let's have a conversation back and forth. I have some prompts, some topics. Um, that we can talk about. I mean, if you guys are interested, right? Like I said, if you ain't doing much, if you're bored, we can have a hopefully respectful conversation back and forth. So, hopefully, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. Nice open dialogue. I always think it's a good thing for us to talk about certain things. This is more like some political topics right now. Um, I don't always talk about political stuff, but I mean, right now we are going through some times. But yeah, let's let's talk about it. So, um, these are the prompts, right? Don Lemon's arrest was justified. Know anything about the FACE Act, which I just recently learned about too? Um, you're not allowed to interfere, intimidate, attack or whatnot. People who are, going about their religious service, right? You can't attack one people based on religion, right? The FACE Act also includes abortion. So I think, during Biden's time or whatever, plenty of people were arrested because they interfere in abortion, acts, whatever. So processes. So if you can get arrested for interfering, um, impeding or whatever, intimidating anyone who's getting an abortion and whatnot, you can also get arrested, prosecuted for impeding, intimidating, whatever, when people do religious services, which Don Lemon was doing, right? He supposedly said he was being a journalist and recording it, but he was participating in, you know, um, the religious service not being able to be upheld or process, to be going through. So I think he's a part of it. I think everyone there, everyone that was at that church should be arrested. Everyone at that church should be arrested and prosecuted. So that is definitely. I think there was another person who was supposedly another supposed journalist, but I hope they're arrested and prosecuted, right, to the full extent of law. They shouldn't. Like it's like, what was the point of protesting in a church? The absolute stupidity of it. That's not news, right? That's not news. Protesting in a church, it's ridiculous. So I don't agree with that. It's like they complain about his First Amendment rights. Your First Amendment rights doesn't give you the right to impede other people's First Amendment rights, which is the freedom to um, you know their freedoms. So I think that was ridiculous. Now, number two, right? Modern protesters, activists are idiots, terrible humans. They destroy their cities, don't care about human lives, nor do they care about America. I don't know about you, but every time I see a protest by the left, I'm seeing them destroying shit. I see them destroying shit. Almost every time I see a protest by the left, I see them destroying shit. How's that protesting? Right? How's that piece of them destroying shit? Also, but recently I saw they were right. Someone they thought was ICE that went and was eating at a restaurant. Turns out the man wasn't ICE. The man and his friends were not ICE. They were TSA officials, but they were harassing the people. So really, it's like the insanity of that. So you're harassing other Americans because you think they're whatever. You should not even be able to harass ICE, right? So really, already there is ridiculous. But now you're harassing people, whoever you think is ICE. They destroyed cars of people they think are ICE too. It's like, seriously? And then you're surprised that when ICE officials will take things to extremes because fear for their life or the fear for their safety. Because these activists have no problems with terrorizing people, whoever they think are ICE. They have no problem with doxing, destroying, okay, property that they think belongs to ICE. So really, I have no issue with ICE taking trying to because honestly, the stupidity of these protesters, absolute stupidity of these protesters. All leftist Democrat protesters are physically interferes in federal activities deserve the consequences. I've been hearing that like this Signal app, right? I don't know. I didn't know much about it, but like they are making communities, little communities where they tail, right? They tail ICE, they figure out who's ICE and they follow people that they believe are ICE to report to each other. Create convoys. Exactly what that woman, what Renee Good was doing. They do these little chat groups or these little message groups so they can purposely go and interfere with federal agents. I'm sorry. Okay? I don't mean that you deserve death, but you do deserve consequences. You do deserve consequences for your actions. Now, sadly, if death happens, it's a sad thing. But I mean, you do stupid shit, you get stupid consequences. So you should not be interfering with federal agents. You shouldn't. The absolute stupidity of that. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be interfering. Issue, take it up with your state officials, right? The people you elected, the people you elected, you know, write to them or have okay. But obviously, some of them can't because honestly, it's federal activity. So it's absolutely stupid. I'm sorry. These whole modern day, all the leftist Democrat protesters, activists, are a bunch of idiots, right? And I'm also gonna say this, right? I've been seeing like these idiots, right, influencing children because I'm seeing middle school and high school students, right? Middle school and high school students protesting. Are you kidding me? Like we have an education problem, right? We have an illiteracy problem. We have a intelligence problem in our. Thank you. What is up? What is up? Thank you for agreeing. Right? We have a problem. We have a education problem in the U.S. So instead of sticking to the books, educating our kids properly, we are allowing our kids or pushing our kids to protest the stupidity of this shit. Protesting what? The deportation of illegal immigrants? Are you stupid? It's like you're to be stupid along with you, with your leftist propaganda. It is right. It is stupid to protest the illegal immigrants. Stupid. Every country in this world has immigration process. Every country in this world would, deport illegal immigrants. So stupid, right? Right. Democrats, the left, are ruining America. They're ruining the media, right? They're ruining shit, right? Mainstream media is a piece of shit. It's pretty much completely, utterly biased, right? It's like left wing propaganda. That's mainstream media for you. There's no like both sides are there's nothing about being a balance. No balance in it. Big bars. What is up, my brother? What is up? Thank you for being here, my brother. I missed you. I missed you. Right? I missed you. The left, feminism, Democrats, they're ruining the family structure, right? The whole, you know, uh, what can I say? As like they push debauchery, they push the high divorces, independent women, feminism, all that shit. It pretty much destroys the family structure, right? So yeah, the left is a bunch of degenerates, in my opinion. Ruining social culture, right? I mean, like the whole this our society, our social structure is the left is evil. 100% big bars. I agree. They are ruining America. They are just like a bunch of degenerates. Supposedly these are they have the highest. They have all the degrees, but yet they're so honestly they lack critical thinking. Okay, they lack critical thinking. They cannot see of their group. They can't. You know what? Maybe they're going too far. Okay, maybe they're going too far. They just can't. So it's just pretty much utterly disgusting. It really is. Guys, please like the stream. It helps me out. Please like the stream. It will help me out. But yeah, I mean, right now on our in our society, gaslighters. I agree. Right? I definitely agree. The left, Democrats, they're the worst. Right? They're the worst. Right? We are like it's the amount of hypocrisy. Okay, the left are violent people. They're violent. They're degenerate. Uh, they are racist. I've seen it plenty of times that they don't mind just viewing like looking at you as your color. Right, Scott. When hate comes, when hate becomes head of the household, evil sets all the examples. Okay, okay. That's interesting. I agree. I can see that. I can see that. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Please like the stream. It helps me out. It helps push the stream out. Be helpful. But yeah, I mean, guys, I just want to. If we have a conversation, right now, our political climate is crazy. Right, a lot of crazy things are happening in the U.S. You guys want to talk about it, have a back and forth, respectful. I'm always respectful, right? I try my best not to insult anybody, right? I try my best not to insult anybody. So having a respectful conversation. I think having a conversation is a good thing. Okay, us as adults, it's a good thing to have conversations. Been evil since Martin Luther King. Malcolm X. Malcolm X. I seen some videos of him talking how liberals are dangerous, how liberals are evil. So Malcolm X talked about it. So there's no surprise there, right? I wouldn't be surprised, right? This is a thing where those people. This is the thing. The left always think that they're on the moral high ground. They are no better. They're no better than the people they hate, right? They're no better than the people they complain about. They're just as bad. I've seen them being you know, fascists themselves. To become a woke superior, being you first must be a complete and utter sellout. Wokes worship fear and hate. I agree. They do. They need to promote it, right? The left needs to promote fear and hate, because then how are they going to how are they going to get their followers? Okay, they need to promote a villain. They need a villain, right? The left needs a villain. That's why when you always talk to the left, they always bring up Trump. They don't talk about anything else, right? They don't talk about, what, maybe, what about this? What about that? No, it's Trump this, Trump that. Always. Always Trump. I saw this video of a news journalist or whatever, right? Questioning what's it, that bald head girl, the bald head woman, right? That black bald head woman who's in Congress. I'm a Republican. Democrats are bad, but not as bad. I'm an ex-Republican. I mean, please tell me. I mean, I would love to know why, right? Democrats, I don't think they're any better. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm saying that they're no better than Republicans. I think Democrats are no better than Republicans. I've always believed this, right? A Democrat will stab you in the back. Republican will stab you to your face. So it's always the two evils, right? I always view politics as two evils, right? Voting for two evils, which is the lesser evil, right? That's how I see it. But the more and more I learn, it's like Republicans will stab you to your face, will stab you in the back. Democrats will fake. Oh, I'm not racist. I'm not a fascist, or I'm not this, I'm not that. But then come around like, oh, they are everything they say they hate. So fear-based change. I agree. I agree. I don't know if Trump ran on fear, right? It's a fascist behavior. Trump was the greatest evil. To be honest, I don't think so. Please name me the things that. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Trump, right? But again, I don't think he ran on fear, right? He ran on, you know, things things need to be changed, right? Things in America need to be changed, and people wanted change, right? People want to change because you can think of this. What did Kamala ran on, right? I mean, she ran on the same thing like Biden did, right? 4 more years of Biden. There was no change to that. Trump ran on change, on difference, moral high ground, but evil intentions. I agree. It's a fake moral high ground. I mean, like, look at this, right? I saw this one woman who's running for, I think she's running for Georgia Senate. Yeah, Trump, Trump, yeah. Sorry, the Dems are broad working for the wealthy, and working for the poor. Okay. What's up, Roger? What is up, guys? What is up, guys? Please like the stream. Helps me out. But yeah, what was I saying? Okay. I saw this woman who's a Democrat. She's running for, I think, Georgia seat, right, to be a Senate or whatever. She literally said, when she's elected, she wants to ban all Republicans because they voted for Trump. I mean, you can't. It won't be done. It won't be done. But her views are very fascist in nature, right? Very dictatorship in nature, where she wants to ban all Republicans off online. Seriously? And you're running for Senate is insane, or a seat on the seat in the government is insane. You don't know what she ran on, but you say you voted for. I didn't vote. I didn't vote for her either. I didn't vote for either. So, and this is the problem, right? See, these Democrats, they're no better. Calling people a moron. I didn't say I voted for Trump, right? But this is the problem. Here's the intolerance. This is the what the lesser evil. This is the kindness right here, saying that you don't know what you ran on, but you say you voted for a lesser of two evils. I didn't say I voted. You're a moron. Yeah. Always the left only know how to insult people. I didn't say I voted for Trump. All right. Dr. Butot, right? White liberals are America's biggest problem, 100%. Not a Dem. I definitely think you are, right? Nothing you have said shown you that you're not Democrat. So, am I Nothing you've said it, but you supported him. I said, right, if I had to pick between Kamala and Trump, I would pick Trump, right? But I'm not the biggest fan of Trump either, right? I mean, I think he's better than Kamala, but that's why I didn't vote at all, right? I if this is a fool. This is a thing where you said nothing. You give no back into your arguments. Like literally, you've said nothing bad about Trump. Please tell me where I created this live. Let's have a back and forth. You literally said nothing about how bad Trump is, or you don't even say how. What's the issue? So as someone who's not a Democrat, you would have picked Kamala. Makes sense. Makes sense. Because Kamala literally run on nothing Republicans believed. So really makes absolutely zero sense. Um, I mean, that's what I'm saying. People that call the people's names, the ones who have weak arguments, they can't make an argument. So they just name call people. That's the weakness of your argument. Just tell me. Give me an. Well, I don't know. I don't know what about the stream, right? What can I do about the stream? If I'm cutting off, it's something wrong with the stream. So I don't know what to say about that. But you know, it is what it is. But again, I mean, like I'll say this right about Trump. I don't care about Trump's foreign policies a lot, right? I wish Trump focus more on the country than what's happening outside the country. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't focus at all on foreign stuff, but I think priority should be the country itself, right? We should be focused on education. We should be focused on education. We should be focusing on you know things that would better our country. Trump is the king of crypto corruption. Does it matter? Like with crypto corruption, fine. If that's true, if it's true or not, does it really matter? I mean, I think every president is a puppet, right? I think every president is a puppet. So that's why I'm not hung up on Trump, right? I think pretty much every president is a puppet in some sort. So I don't care about Trump. I don't really care that much about Trump, right? I mean, like I said, if I had to pick between Kamala and Trump, I would have picked Trump. But again, I think every president is a puppet. That's why I usually talk about the party as a whole, right? I usually talk about the party as a whole because focusing on Trump means what? I, focusing on Trump means what? I don't view it as a good argument. All those things he cut. You're a moron. You don't know what you're talking. You literally gave me no example. What did he cut? Right? What did he cut? Show me something that he actually cut. I mean, what is it? Aid to foreign countries? Thank God he cut those. Really, I wish he cut all aids to foreign countries because you cannot send money or whatever to other countries when Americans should be needing it. You can't be sending money to other countries when we are at a deficit, right? The literally we're not talking about kids, and yet you guys are bringing up kids is absolutely stupid. I literally said I didn't. It's absolutely ridiculous. When you can't, when you know how to insult people, your intelligence is absolutely just dirt poor. Like, what an idiot. CS, you're an idiot. So all you know how to do is talk about children. I mean, literally nothing about this. I talked about children. You're the one who talks about kids. So really, we can see who's the more the public health countries is important to keep America's. How's that? What the hell are you talking about? Public health in other countries is to keep America safe. I'm sorry, Christo. Seems like you're the idiot, right? Seems like you're the moron. I'm sorry. Like, it's very moronic. Foreign aid is not important. No. Americans are more important. Care about Americans. We have homeless people. We have people who need, who need public health, right? We have Americans that are in need of health care, right? We have Americans that have literally I already destroyed your argument. So really, you sound like the fool. So what is up? What is up? America. I believe in America first. I believe in America first. I don't trolls and haters. You know, they are what they are. They are they're weak-minded people, low IQ people. All they can do is be a troll. Thank you, Diesel. More insults, it just proves me right. I think I always say, low IQ people only know how to insult. So, low IQ people only know how to insult others. So, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, you're the one who's saying some moronic stuff. So really, but it's all good, right? I don't mind the trolls and haters, right? It helps the algorithm. It helps the algorithm, with you know, public health in your own country, right? The stupidity that you care about health in a country that doesn't affect how literally you didn't give an example. How does the public health in other country affect you? Because if a country, right, is, I don't know, their public health is terrible, how does that affect you? You literally gave me COVID. Guess what, right? Okay, here's the thing, Crystal. So you said COVID. Let's say this. We had aid. We gave an aid before COVID, and it didn't even save us. We gave aid to other countries before COVID, and it didn't save us. So really, who's the moron here? So your thing is like, oh, public health in other countries help America, and yet it didn't save America from COVID. Surprise, surprise. It didn't help America. We gave aid to these countries before COVID. So by your example, by your argument, it would have helped. It would have helped America. It didn't. So I don't know. I don't know. Rat, if you say so. It's just a trigger words. It's multiple words that is used to get idiots engaged. I mean, I don't mind if people are engaged. That's, it is what it is, right? Ebola. Okay. I mean, there's plenty of countries affected from Ebola, so that didn't stop it. I mean, I don't know. It didn't stop it. Plus, I mean, that really didn't help us. What? Just a kitty. Trump disbanded the group that would have helped keep COVID out of the country. What group? What group? Tell me the group. These are the people who protested No Kings the same week they protested Maduro. That's why this is the low. This is the hypocrisy of the left, right? This is the hypocrisy of the left. We stop it with aid. No, no. Let's see. I don't. I never. Let's see this. There was a playbook started by Bush and continued by Obama, ignored by Trump. Bro, I mean, come on. Like, seriously. Please give a more accurate example. I mean, like, Bush and Obama were related. Christopher, the Epstein files. CS, you talk about sexual things a lot. I wouldn't be surprised that you know, you're into kids as well. So there's no surprise that. I found it just as we were shutting everything down. It is still online. I mean, like, is it a what is the source? Is it a credible source? I mean, like, to be honest, you can't believe everything that's online. Literally not begging for money. So it's like Constance said a lot of uh, things that are not creditable. But hey, I don't mind the trolls, right? Don't mind the trolls. Yeah, CS is a clown. He definitely is a clown. What is the source? I mean, put in the chat. Um, put the link in the chat. I don't mind to check it out. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not. I'm not here to spout that I'm smarter than anyone. Put the link in the chat. See, now you talk about flat earther and anti-vaxxer. I mean, like seriously. Crystal, put your links in the chat if you want, right? Because literally you prove nothing. Now, let me ask you this. If there was some, those were, would those be called? Interesting joke. Okay, let me go find it. Yeah, like let me post it. It'd be interesting read if you believe it. If it's a credible source, maybe you will. But to be honest, it's like COVID was. I don't know. I think COVID was a mess for everyone. To be honest, I thought it would have. I don't know. I don't know if we were. If it was necessarily what we did with COVID. Closing things up. I didn't. I don't know. I even though. Secret Facebook group. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, not the company that had the vaccine. Kenneth, what is up? What is up? Thank you guys for being here. I mean, disagree, agree. It's all good. Please, please like the stream. It helps out the stream. It killed my grandfather. COVID was bad, man. I'm not saying COVID was good, right? I'm not saying COVID was good. Interesting. Okay, that's where you store things. Okay. I mean, I would, might be an interesting read. So that's why, don't mind to post it. But again, I mean, like, let's say this. Trump's first term, there was a lot to disagree with, right? I didn't really care for Trump's first term. So I'm not here saying that, oh, Trump was amazing, right? Yeah, so this is a thing where I was wonder, what is up? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just like Katie, I said, that's why I said post a link. It might be an interesting read, right? But again, I mean, I think I don't think anyone would have, in my opinion, I don't think anyone would have, reacted to COVID accurately or, that well. So I'm not saying that, COVID would have been an easy thing anyway. So, but yeah, his first term was, marred by, yeah. Now, this is the thing, right? I think his second term was I think his second term is drastically different than his first term. I think to be honest, I think his second term is better than his first term. I really think his politics is just theater. I agree. I agree. Politics is just theater. Right. I think Trump is doing a lot more in his second term compared to his term. I think his first term he just talked a lot. I think Trump's first term he talked a lot, while his second term he's not just talking, he's doing it. Now he's marred by these riots only. Yeah, he's marred by the riots, which is honestly, the riots are stupid, right? The protests, the activists, it's an idiotic thing. That's why that's why I'm talking about those, right? I'm talking about more ridiculous. How is he a fascist? Please tell me, what is he doing? Like, okay, fine. The one thing you said, cut off aids to another country. That's not a fascist. That's not fascist, right? You're as the person who's giving aid, you are allowed to cut off aid. That's not fascism, right? Please tell me a fascist, behavior. Protesters were pretty dead today. Oh, no protesters today. Who? Don Lemon? The man deserves to be arrested. Right? Oh, you said the DOJ? I mean, I don't know if he's doing that, right? Because if he's using it as his personal law firm, a whole lot more people would be arrested and prosecuted. But only the people who are making actual, you know, unlawful activities are. Media is not a shield against the law. I agree. I mean, do you see what the protesters are doing? They're destroying public property, and the city is not, stopping it. So how are they untrained men? These are federal officials. They're federal officials. They're ICE agents, FBI agents, Homeland Security agents. I mean, like, how are they untrained officials? That's ridiculous. He's using ICE. He's using ICE to deport illegal immigrants. Are you kidding me? The person of Gestapo? What are you talking about? That's a ridiculous thing. How? No, they're not. That's ridiculous. How they're randos? Where's the proof of that? Please post a link. You got to post some proofs, right? You gotta actual. You can't just say shit and just no proof at all. The Dems are upset that ICE busts down the wrong door sometimes. Meanwhile, Waltz orders state police to not share the current locations of targets. I agree. I mean, like, again, ICE agents are not perfect. Fine, they bust down the wrong doors. Okay, they let Americans go, right? If they arrest, let's say if they arrest someone or detain someone, and you find out it's an American, they let them go. Okay, who's to say that they should be perfect? Because they're not getting helped by the state. The state's not helping them. So, of course, they're going to make mistakes. I agree. I mean, if Waltz actually, you know, if these states actually help out federal officials, I think things would go smoother. I think if these states were helping federal officials, I think all of these operations would go a lot smoother. No, are you kidding me? Mistakes happen because they're not trained. No, mistakes happen because they're doing things without help, right? Without the state's help. So they have to figure things out themselves. No one is perfect. Trained police even arrest people that are like, by your definition, nobody on earth is trained, right? By your definition, nobody's trained. That's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. Oh, the puberty blockers in kids? Yeah, that's a no-no. Exactly. Andres said it, right? What people's rights? What right? You you don't have the right to not be detained or arrested. You don't have. There's no right that you said that you're not allowed to be detained or arrested. Literally, you say no facts. What facts are you giving? Right? Rats, you're not giving facts. You're not. Yes, you don't have a right to illegally immigrate to another country. You don't have a right to that. You don't have a right to illegally immigrate to another country. You don't have a right to illegally enter another country. Now, again, if you are falsely detained or arrested, and you are actually a citizen, they will let you go. I've seen a ICE. Yes, they falsely arrested or falsely detained somebody, and they let a person go. Right? There was an old man that ICE arrested or detained, and they let the guy go. Hey, it happens. I'm not saying that they're perfect. You have the right to interview people at a protest, but you don't have the right to interfere in people's religious acts. Which interviewing somebody is interfering with someone's religious act, right? Don Lemon, right? Yeah, Don Lemon did more than that, right? Again, read the FACE Act, right? The FACE Act says you cannot interfere, intimidate, or I'm not saying he necessarily attacked anybody, but you can't do a lot of things when it comes to people's religious services. I mean, if you say so. I mean, like, if thieves break into a house, you're not allowed to follow them into the house with press privileges. Wonder exactly, right? Exactly. Just saying that you're filming something because you're a journalist. You're not allowed to do everything you want just because you call yourself a journalist. Right? You're not allowed to just do anything you want just because you can't interfere, right, in other people's rights. Just he was asked to leave, he didn't. He was asked not to interrupt, he didn't. And then journalists passed judgment on people attending. He is guilty. Andreas, 100%, right? He participated. He participated. I hope that everyone who was at that, who participated, all the protesters who was at that church, I hope they all get arrested and prosecuted. Yes, do that in a mosque. 100%. He would not do that. Right? He's not. Why isn't he? Covering things that happen in mosque? No. And protesters, why wouldn't they go into a mosque? They would never do that. Right? They would never do that. Again, I mean, I just wanted to see if you guys, we could have a, hopefully respectful conversation. As adults, we should be able to talk to each other, agree, disagree, find some common ground. It's fine. But talking to each other is a good thing, right? Talking to each other is a good thing. Hopefully, we could be respectful to. In fact, I think this was a hate crime. Before going in, Lemon mentioned it was because it was a white church, if I remember right. Wow, if that's true, right? If protesters did that all because it's a white church, I mean, like, would they do that to a black church? A predominantly a church that a church that had predominantly black black attendance. That would have been that would have been interesting. Looking for this chat on my computer. I don't know. I didn't see a link. I mean, at least I'm looking at my phone, so I didn't see a link. So Where's your Christo? You know, you say a lot of things. You say you're a Republican, you say you're a Christian, but everything you say is very counter to all that. Right? Everything you say is counter to a Republican. Everything you say is counter to to a Christian. Okay, who are you saying that pastor is ICE? Is there any proof to that, or it's just assumption? I literally seen no one posted any proof that pastor is working for ICE. And seriously, who? Where is it? Where is it to say that pastors can? Well, but these are invalid. They are interested in destruction and subversion, not truth and debate. I kind of agree. I kind of agree. I'm looking at a yesterday's live thing. Yesterday's live? I don't know what you're talking about. You're so informed. Okay, then inform me. Inform me, right? Again, like I said, I want to do these types of live is for us to talk to each other, right? For us to talk to each other. I'm very open-minded, right? For you said you were an ex-Republican. Well, I was an ex-Democrat, right? I was an ex-Democrat. I was a Democrat when Bernie was running, right? I was a Democrat when Bernie was running. When the Democrats didn't want Bernie, I was good, right? I was good. That's when I stopped being a Democrat, when they didn't want Bernie Sanders to run. So I was an ex-Democrat. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I'm a Republican. I'm more center right, right? I would lean more to a Republican, but I'm not saying that I'm a Republican. I'll say I'm more center right, because I try to be as unbiased as possible. I try to look at things more logical than saying I'm a Republican or Democrat or right or left. You know, I try to be critical of both sides as much as I can. I'm not saying that I'm 100% unbiased, but I try my best. Right? I try to in both sides. That's why they were protesting at the church. That's why they were protesting at that church. You know how many times I just said the story, right? I just said the story where these protesters went to a Korean barbecue place, thinking thinking this one person was ICE, right? Thinking this one person worked for ICE. Okay, they harassed the person. They destroyed this person's car. They did all this shit, right? Thinking this person was ICE, right? Thinking this person was ICE, only to later find out that this person worked for the TSA. They work for TSA. So really, these protesters that think whoever's ICE, they don't know shit. Right? They don't know shit. They just on camera, they just harassed someone they thought was ICE, only to later find out the guy worked for TSA. So F that shit. Bernie Sanders is a socialist. Socialism will never work in a capitalist society. We work for what we got. I agree. I mean, I was a little naive with the Bernie Sanders thing, right? I was like, Bernie Sanders say free colleges, free health for all. So maybe I was like, I was being hopeful. So I woke up from that shit. The Republicans running the government, fascist regime. Give me an example. Give me an example. What's the fascist regime? I haven't seen that. I don't condone that. I mean, great, Crystal. Great that you don't condone it. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you an example, and that's recorded, right? That's been recorded, so that there's proof for that. That what I said about the TSA thing. But it shows you that these protesters don't always know what they're doing, right? They don't know what they're doing. They're assuming people are ICE. Even if they're ICE, it doesn't give you the right to enter a church and protest. It doesn't give you the right to do that. As a Christian, you should not be wanting people to protest within a church. You shouldn't be wanting people to instill terror and fear into children and the congregation. So in itself is okay as long as they are non-violent. Violence is never okay in a civil society. I agree. Protest is okay. but you shouldn't be you shouldn't, protesting is fine, but you shouldn't, right, be instilling fear to others. You shouldn't be damaging property, because I see a lot of protesters destroying cars, destroying public property, destroying private property. So did you make sure it wasn't AI? It's not AI, right? There, I think it was CBS or news coverage by major or bigger, I guess you call it news outlet. I guess you call it a news outlet, right? But again, you should not be protesting in a church, right? You want to protest outside of it. They should have protested outside of a church, right? Entering a church with that kind of malice, and I think that's disgusting, right? Where there's kids, there were kids in that church, right? There were kids in that church. So I don't 100%. I find that disgusting. I found that disgusting. So, but again, like I said, right? This is the thing where I want to create an environment where we can talk to each other, right? Crystal, I respect you, right? Crystal, I respect you. I mean, thank you. I mean, we don't need to agree. We don't need to agree, right? We could agree to disagree, right? But I respect you for your views. I try to be respectful as possible. I mean, even though you insulted me a few times, it's all good. I don't mind, right? I mean, it's fine that we have different views, and that's the beauty of America, right? That's the beauty of America. We don't have to agree, right? But as civilized people, hopefully we can talk to each other. We could, hash out differences. If we can't, maybe, hopefully other people can see the conversations, and it's okay that we talk. Anyone who disrupts any type of religious service is breaking the law. Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus would never permit that. It's illegal, by the way. Did I already say that? 100%. 100%. You should not be disrupting people's religious services. It's disgusting, and like Sue said, it's against the law. Isabel, no. Okay. It's all good, right? Again, we don't have to agree on everything. That's the beauty of America. We don't have to agree on everything. If we can't find agreement, hopefully we could just agree to disagree, right? We're civilized. We could just you don't get to go. I hope we can disagree after calling protesters terrible. So what? They're terrible. I mean, I'm not particularly attacking any individual, right? But I think that destroying property, right? Destroying property, harassing people, which I gave you example, right? Destroying property, harassing people, disturbing religious services, you are terrible. These protesters are terrible. I'm not saying any one particular protest. Protests are terrible. Even Jesus never resisted his own arrest. Right there. But they are terrible, right? I gave example. I'm not saying that all protesters are, but I gave example of why I said protesters are terrible. I mean, Joe, if you think so, that's your opinion, right? Can't storm a church. I agree, Gregory. Church. I mean, you could protest outside of the church. Why have protested outside of that church, right? They could have protested outside of that church. I thought it was a very low-life thing to do, to storm that church, to protest in that church. You are instilling fear into children. Really? That guy they shot wasn't resisting. I mean, I didn't see the video, but I mean, I think you shouldn't be interfering. I'm sorry, right? Protesting is one thing. Federal agents. Now, I'm not saying that right or wrong. I'm not saying right or wrong, because I didn't watch any videos on it. I only know the little gist about it. But again, protesting, I didn't say, I'm not saying right or wrong, right? I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying that you should be interfering with federal agents, the federal agent process. I'm not saying right or wrong, right? Let the court wrong. Let the courts handle whether it's right or wrong. If it's wrong, prosecute it. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be interfering with the federal process. Yes, yes. I Wonder Bucket. Yes, Christians got arrested for praying a block away from a abortion clinic. That's the same act, right? The FACE Act is the same act that you can't do those in near abortion clinic. You can't interfere with abortion clinics. You can't interfere with churches. That's the same. That's the same act, right? A civil society must have law and order, otherwise chaos ensues, and humans get hurt and possibly unalive. Agree, right? You want to protest, but you interfering with federal agents, you're interfering with law and order. It's chaos, right? And then when chaos happens, I think stupid things will happen too, right? I agree, Sue. 100%. I agree. I love it. I mean, I'm not. Again, if it's not what if that's not what happened, leave it to the courts. Leave it to the courts to prosecute. Leave it to the courts to prosecute. I'm not saying it happened. I'm not. Again, I will fringe ignorance on it. I'm not giving a. I'm not giving a an opinion on it because I didn't watch videos or whatever on it. So thank you guys for being here. Right. Thank you guys for being here. I just wanted to create a space where we could talk to each other, where whether we agree, whether we disagree, a place where we could talk to each other, right? As adults, we should be able to talk to each other, right? A civil society, we should be able to hash out disagreements or have a respectful conversation with each other. That's what I want to promote, right? I'm not trying to promote things where I'm hating you on your ideologies or whatnot. I voted for him. I was a moron. I don't think so, right? If you voted for him, I wouldn't call you a moron, right? Because to be honest, Trump. To be honest, I always think that Trump was he right. He ran on trying to be different than the status quo. So I say that, right. To be honest, I think our government is corrupt. I think there's so many problems within our government. So someone that run to change things up, Crystal, you're allowed not to vote for Trump in 2028. Yes, you're allowed to. It's like, you know, if you say so. I would love to hear one of these people who think Don Lemon's arrest was justified explain the legal elements behind the charges. Yeah, I mean, legally, Don Lemon should be arrested, right? Legally, because like I said, the FACE Act, he should be arrested. Stop with that thing, right? This is the thing, Crystal. I'm sorry, you're still being young and impressionable, right, Crystal? You're still being young and impressionable. You throw away, you throw the words Nazi, fascism, but honest, nothing about what's happening is very Nazi or fascist. Okay, it's within the power of the government to do what they're doing. Okay, and this is the thing where you're using these words that the left are using. You haven't lived during Nazi occupation. I'm sorry. You haven't lived under a dictatorship. So stop it. I'm sorry. Stop it. You haven't lived under fascism or Nazi, right? So you don't know. So stop using the rhetoric. You don't know. It's really disingenuous. And then it belittles the people who actually during Nazi or dictatorship occupation. So yeah, again, like I just said, I would love to hear one of these guys explain. You literally just dodged that as fast as possible. I don't know what you. I literally explained why it's justified. In the FACE Act, right? You are not allowed to interfere. You're not allowed to interfere in church activities. You're not allowed to intimidate people who are doing religious services, right? You're not allowed. You're not allowed to interfere in church services. So it is, again, you're not allowed to storm a church. I mean, also you should read what Sue said. It's illegal to do. It's what is it? It's illegal to disrupt religious services. It's breaking the law. Well, two people really explain to you. Using the elements, I don't know what you're talking about. Read the FACE Act. I mean, like, okay, the FACE Act, right, prohibits the use of force, physical obstruction, intimidation, or interference, right? Okay, so listen again, right? The FACE Act prohibits the force, prohibits the use of force, physical obstruction, intimidation, or interference with people trying to access reproductive health and religious services. Right? It covers both of them, right? Reproductive health and religious services. So Don Lemon, he contributed to, what do I need to read? The FACE Act. I'm reading it right now. I'm reading it to you, right? The law. It's the law. FACE Act, right? Prohibits the use of force for the use of force, physical obstruction, right? He was obstructing church services, right? He was intimidating people who was doing a church service. He's interfering in church services. I literally, I don't know what you're talking about, right? I just read it to you. So Ice, if you really can't understand what I'm reading to you, then I don't know what to tell you, right? I literally read it to you, word for word, and you said that you don't know the elements. Okay, I mean, like, if you want to ignore it, you can ignore it all you want. No, I mean, some people just don't want to listen to anything, right? I read an actual law, right? I read an actual law, but I read the actual law, but they don't want to you know they don't want to listen, so it is what it is. I mean, prosecution is that he intimidated people, he interfered, he literally, you see on camera, with church services, to interview the preacher, you are interfering with church services. I like standards in the first place. I mean, yeah. I'm literally reading from the FACE Act. What are you talking about? Uh, what you talk? No, no. I mean, Department of Justice. It protects access to reproductive health clinics and places of religious services free of force and free of force or threats of force. No, he was interviewing. He was interviewing. He interviewed also the preacher, right? You were interfering with church services. Plus, you going into that church. You weren't you're going into that church. You participated. Going into that church, you participated. I mean, whatever, right? I mean, if you say so. And for gaming, I mean, like, I think nothing you would nothing I would say would convince you anyway. So really, it's like it's up to you, my brother. It's up to you. I mean, nothing you said would really counteract anything I said. So, but thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for checking out the live. Right, you guys are amazing. Can the press just follow thieves breaking into a house, not leave when asked? The press can't do that. If you say so, Ice. I mean, like literally, you gave no counter argument. Okay, so I mean, you want to read it? I mean, summation is really ridiculous. I mean, fine, you want to read it? Okay, 18 U.S. Code 248, freedom of access to clinic entrances, right? Prohibited activities, prohibited activities, whoever, right? Two, by force or threat of force, by physical obstruction, which I said, intentionally injuries, intimidates or interfere with, or attempts to injure, intimidate or interfere with any person lawfully exercising or seeking access to First Amendment rights of religion freedom at place of religious worship. I literally read word for word, the law. Okay? Not a summation, word for word. Right? A2. So now what? Again, the intimidation, the interference, right? Which Don Lemon was doing. Look, literally, what are you talking about? I'm reading Cornell Law School, right? I don't know what you're talking about. U.S. Code. You're going to the Department of Justice rather than actual legal. What the hell? I mean, like, seriously, like. Again, I'm not the prosecution. I'm not prosecution, right? That's gonna be for them to prove. I think it's justified. Now, whether they prove it or right, they prove it or not, that's up to them. I didn't read the full text. I read one entry in it, right? Like literally. I mean, like, and again, you asking me to read, you gave no counter argument to it. You gave no counter argument to it. You want to do the prosecution? I mean, you want me to do the prosecution? Where's your defense? Where's your defense? How is he not interfering? How was he not interfering with church services? If Don Lemon gets time in jail for being a reporter, he wasn't getting time in jail for being a reporter, right? And he hasn't gotten time in jail yet. But again, he's not getting time for being a reporter. He's getting time in jail, or if he gets prosecuted, is for impeding religious services. If you say so, right? I can literally post you the I can post you the you know the U.S. code. Even the police would have to even the police would have to leave a church if asked. Right? I gave you the justification, right? I gave you the Mika, Mika me. The man was interfering in church services under right under the face of 18 U.S. Code 248, freedom access to clinic entrances. Right? I gave you right the justification. If which I'm not saying I am I'm not saying that I'm the one who's going to prosecute him, but why I say it's justified is that he interfered in church services, and that is against the law. That is how disingenuous with the rhetoric, if you say so. I mean, literally, you prove nothing. You counteract nothing, right? You said nothing. And again, you said the burner proof on me. Okay, fine. By video, right? By video, it shows Don Lemon interfering in church services. You, right? Him even interviewing the preacher interfered in church services. He wouldn't leave. So really, I just proved it. Now, whether the prosecutor does like that, well, that's up to him, right? I already have whether you believe me or not, right? That's infant grades. I don't know. Hell, maybe you have a law degree. Maybe you're the one who has a law degree. So, you know, but that's why I'm not prosecuting him. Turn it on them. Ask them to read the elements. He has certain rights as a journalist. He's protected by the First Amendment. He has certain rights as a journalist, yes, but he's not invincible as a journalist. His First Amendment rights cannot interfere with other people's First Amendment rights, right? People has the right to people have the right to for the religious services. His journalist rights interfered with other people's you know, their rights. So he doesn't have that kind of he doesn't have that kind of power. I'm not saying, but again, do it outside of religious services. They were having a religious service. I'm a Christian. Asking question is a religion is wrong. You should not be protesting in a church. You could have protested outside of the church. You could have interviewed and asked the question of the preacher outside of that church. Once their religious service was done. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Interfering in religious services is against the law, right? What? Just first little bit? I don't know what. I mean, tell me a. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna sit here just to just sitting here to read to you. What section would you want me to read that would you know counteract what I'm saying? What he did was obstruction, right? He stopped the religious service. All right. I never said I was prosecuting the man, right? I think it's justified because the man shouldn't even been in the church. I think it's justified because the man shouldn't even be in the participating, right? The man is like a left wing lunatic. You literally gave me no you what like I literally didn't make it. I literally did not make it up. I literally read it. He wasn't documenting the event, right? He was participating. I'm sorry. I don't. He wasn't documenting the event, and the event, they shouldn't. The protesters shouldn't have barged into that church. No, that was documenting the event. No, he went along within the church with them. So yeah, everyone is welcome to the church, right? Even terrorists and people who want to harm churchgoers. Don Lemon has the First Amendment right to report. People have First Amendment right to practice their religious services, right? To practice their religion. His First Amendment interfered with other people's. I mean, that could be your interpretation, right? Other people can view Don Lemon contributing to it, participating in it, right? So it's up to the prosecutor, right? It's up to the prosecutor and the judge. So if he's found guilty, well, that proves me wrong. If he's found guilty, that proves me right. If he found innocent, that proves you right. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, you're not on the stand, right? You're not defending him, and I'm not prosecuting him, right? And us talking back and forth about it, which we're not agreeing to, which is fine. We don't have to agree. Means nothing, right? It doesn't show the results. Now, I know your argument. You know mine. Okay. He was not just being in the church. No, I'm sorry. Right? He interfered with the church practices, right? He interfered with it. Like literally, I mean, you interviewing the preacher while the preacher is trying to have a religious service is pretty much interfering with it. But again, like I said interfering with religious services, right? You were interfering with the religious services. Like I said, right? We'll see who's right and wrong. We'll see if Don Lemon is actually found guilty. Well, the courts agree with me, right? You are interfering. Yes, you are interfering by talking with a person doing the religious service. How does that not make sense? If I'm talking, right? If I'm talking to a group of people and you stop me, or you stop me from talking to people, You're interfering with my speech. You're interfering with what I'm doing. That's literally what interfering is, right? They didn't allow, right, the church to continue. No one there allowed the church to continue. It is interfering with the services. Now, again, it's interpretation, right? It's about interpretation. If the prosecutor can convince the judge, right? If the prosecutor can convince the judge that it is interfering, well, guess what? I'm right. We'll see. We'll see. If you yell at a police officer, are you interfering with the? If you are stopping, right, the police officer from doing what he's doing, yes, it would be interfering. If the police officer was doing something, right, and you tried to interview the police officer, stop him from doing his work, it could be viewed as obstruction. It could be viewed as interfering, right? Well, then, okay, if it's not the legal standard, Don Lemon will be found innocent. Okay. Again, I didn't yelling. I'm not saying no yelling at a police officer. You could stand far away and yell at a police officer. Doesn't mean that you're interfering. That's not what I'm saying. Yes, if that's your example, you stand there and you yell at a police officer. Is that interfering? No, that's not interfering. But that's not the same. That's not the same thing. How am I fumbled it? I literally inferent. I mean, like literally nothing anyone can say that convince you otherwise. So you definitely don't listen to nothing else. I gave you my example. I'm not prosecuting the man, right? I'm not prosecuting the man. You think you are so you think you're so legally smart? Great. That means that you know what? He will be found innocent. Okay, right? The man will be found innocent because you know better. Okay, all good. I'm not saying that. Okay, obviously I can't convince you. If you say that's not interference, that in the legal standard, okay. And this is the thing, right? People have been arrested at abortion clinics because of the same thing, doing the same thing, right? People were arrested at abortion clinics doing the same thing. I mean, I say that if they could found these other people guilty at abortion clinics, they'll probably find Don Lemon guilty. But we'll see. Again, I'm not the one who's prosecuting him. I'm not the one who's defending him. So we'll see who's right and wrong, right? Like literally, what did I lie about? I mean, like this is the thing where if you are so legally smart, right? A lot of times it's how you interpret the law, right? How it's a lot of times it's how you interpret the law and how you convince that interpretation. You're supposedly so smart legally, right? Right. I'm not clamoring to be someone who's extremely well up on legal processes, but a lot of times it's how you interpret the law, interpretation, right? It's how you present that interpretation of the law. So whether I'm right or wrong, we'll see about the court cases. I'm just saying personally, I see it as justified. Now, if you don't, that's all the more power to you. But again, if you actually know anything about the legal process, it is how you interpret the law and how you can convey that interpretation. So, I mean, whatever you think is that's up to you. Không có uống cho má à?
Có, má đi đằng sau.
Ờ.
Đi đằng sau, tôi để trước.
I disagree with people that protest outside of abortion clinics. But are you saying that isn't freedom of speech? That by the FACE Act, that isn't, right? Now, again, people have been arrested people have been arrested and prosecuted for that. So, I mean, if you want to make the logic consistent, then it should be, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but by that law, right? You can't protest outside abortion clinics, or you can't impede people from abortion clinics. Same interfere with people with religious acts. Again, if the logic is consistent, right? If the logic is consistent, right? If it's freedom of speech, doing whatever outside of a when it comes to abortion clinic, then okay, it's freedom of speech when it comes to religious acts. But again, people made that law so you can convey that both, right? It's not freedom of speech when you impede when it comes to abortion clinics. It's not freedom of speech when you impede. Oh God, the word is in the law, right? The word is into law. The word is in that law, right? When you interfere, right? Interfering is in that fucking law. It's like I'm just like you're really. It's not freedom of speech to physical impede. But let me say, right? If I'm standing in front, right, it could be interpreted as physical impediment, right? If I'm standing in front of you, right, it could be interpreted as physical impediment. So again, it could be interpreted that if he was standing in front of you, if I was standing in front of you, interviewing you, that's kind of physical impediment, right? Because I'm stopping you from doing what you're doing. So if I'm like standing in front of you, I'm not touching you, but I'm standing in front of you. Let's say at an abortion clinic, I'm standing in front of you, not letting you go in or not letting you do your thing. That could be interpreted as physical impediment, right? I don't need to put my hands on you, but I can stand in front of you, physically impeding you, physically interfering. That could be again. This is a thing where I mean, like, Inferent talks a lot about law, but if he knows so much about law, it is interpretation, and is how you can prove that interpretation, right? That's why a lot of times laws are very vague. A lot of times laws are very vague because it's meant for you to interpret, which is I don't necessarily agree with how vague it is, but laws are vague so you can interpret it how you can interpret it. I mean, I think he's saying that words has no legal standards. I Words kind of do, right? Words words could do. I mean, you can interpret it something different. But here's the thing, right? Like I said, if I stand in front of you, right, potentially stopping you from doing what you're doing, that could be physical and interference. But words do have meanings. Defamation is a thing, right? Defamation is a thing. So words do have legal standing. So already that is like I already debunked that. Words do have legal standings. Defamation is a thing. I mean, I'm not saying that this is that, it's the same thing, but I really just disproved words do have legal standings. Name me the first element. I mean, like seriously, Inferent. You say a lot of shit, but it's not really substantial. Like, imagine a tries to interview someone going into an abortion clinic while there are protesters there. Is that interference? No, that's insane. I believe it could be categorized as interference, right? Because if you don't like if a journalist is interviewing someone but doesn't want to be interviewed, right? That person wants to continue toward the clinic. It could be interpreted as interference. Yeah, the person doesn't like if the person is not letting you go, right? If I'm interviewing you, but not letting you, not be interviewed, right? You know, even if you don't want to talk, you're being in the person's way. So what do you what am I skipping? How's the law very clear, right? So section 2 of it, by force or threat of force, or by physical obstruction, intentionally injures, intimidates, or intimidate or interfere with any person lawfully exercising or seeking to exercise the First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of religious worship. I don't know what you. I don't know what you. I read that whole. I read the whole second. The second section, the whole thing. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, this is again, right? If you think that's fine, I've seen plenty of people get arrested, protesting at abortion clinics. You know, again, people could, if you know anything about the law, all right, the law is not as very clear as you make it out to be. It's not. I think that's honestly quite disingenuous because the law is not very clear. It's not. It's interpretation. It really is. And it's how you can prove that interpretation. It's how you can prove that interpretation. The law is actually very vague. I think that is ridiculous, right? I mean, if you say so, Infant. I mean, like obviously, we're not going to come to a common ground, right? Obviously, we disagree. It is what it is. But again, Mr. Soft the First, I ain't into drama. I get it, right? I mean, I get it. If we don't, I get it. It's drama. I understand that. Yeah, exactly. If the law wasn't meant to be interpreted, we wouldn't need 9 Supreme Court judges, right? Right. I mean, it is interpretation, right? The law isn't as clear cut as Infra is making out to be. So I think that's disingenuous. Already, you saying that, right? You saying it's very clear. Obviously, you've seen no court cases in your life. It's not as, I'm not saying every law. I'm not saying every law, but it's disingenuous to just say blatantly laws are very clear. No, that's disingenuous. A lot of times, a lot of laws are very vague. It is very vague. And it's vague for a reason, right? It's vague for a reason because it's meant for the interpretation. It's meant for, for you to, I don't know, to determine something else, right? To make out a different time, maybe a different kind of interpretation. What do you mean first 3 sentences? Like I literally said the whole section, bro. Obviously, you're just gonna we're just gonna agree to disagree. We are just gonna agree to disagree. All right, guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys. I mean, even if we disagree, it's all good, right? No, because then you can twist the law. Plenty of people twist the law. Like Crystal, come on. You're being disingenuous. We all know plenty of people twist the law. Plenty of bad people get off because of twisting the law. We come on. Like you're so critical, right? You're so critical of so many things. Come on. You know that people twist the law. So that's disingenuous, right? That's why we know laws are vague. right? Because you can twist the law. I mean, if you say Trump, but then that just shows you, right? That just proves that laws can be vague, or have been vague, right? Or not clear. So you would agree on that, right? So like we come to that agreement, right? Laws are vague. I mean, you can interpret that, how you want, right? Even if it's physical obstruction for like a second, a couple of seconds, it could be you know, it could be interpreted as that. But yeah, I mean, interviewing could, right? If you unless the prosecutor can say that you are not allowed to interview the person while religious services are going, then that could be the problem. But again, we'll see how the prosecutors do it, right? I mean, if you stand, I believe it's physical obstruction, right? Standing in front of someone, not allowing someone to, continue their religious service and trying to interview the person could be interpreted as physical obstruction. But again, right, that is interpretation of the law. That is interpretation that the prosecutor needs to prove, right, needs to convey to the judge. And if the judge believes it or not. I do. I mean, like if he didn't allow the person to continue services, it could be it could be interpreted as impassable, right? Plus, let's contribute to all the protesters. It contribute. I'm saying Don Lemon was a part of it, right? He was a part of this whole impassable thing, right? He was part of it. Not the only indicator, not the only thing. He was a part of it. And that is what the prosecutor needs to prove, right? Yes, if the pastor has to stop services to beg Lemon to leave, the church service was obstructed. Wonder Bucket. It's 2 versus 2, right? Me and Wonder Bucket was versus Ice Infrit and Chris. Guys, I love you, right? Again, I love the respectful back and forth, right? Infinite, mad respect to you. Mad respect to you, Crystal. Mad respect to you, right? Mad respect to you guys. Even if we disagree, I still love you guys. I'll say I still love you guys. I still respect you guys, right? We disagree. It's all good. I respect you guys, and it is what it is, right? So you guys are amazing. I love you guys. I gotta go. That's it for tonight. That's it for the live, right? Sub. Thank you, Wonder Bucket, right? Ice Imprint, right? I hope you sub too, right? Crystal, I hope you sub too, because I do have not for the time being, right? I do have panel, right? If you disagree with me, I will have panel shows where we can we can have a conversation live together, right? You don't have to cam up, but you can mic up. We can have a conversation, respectful conversation, right? I respect you guys. I love you guys. So if you want to sub, we can have more, debates and conversation together, right? Respectful. We don't have to agree, right? We talk to each other and let the audience, right? Let the audience come to a conclusion, right? I don't have to change your mind. You don't have to change my mind. We could just talk, have a conversation. So if you want, right? But yeah, I love you guys. You guys are amazing, right? So that's it. Later, guys. That's it.